The call came at 2:14 a.m. Hospitals don't call at that hour unless something has gone wrong. Terribly wrong. "Mr. Hale," the voice said, sharp, rehearsed, detached. "You need to come to St. Andrews. Your daughter's been admitted. She's conscious. Barely. Barely." That word stuck. It always does. When I arrived, the hall smelled of antiseptic and fear. Nurses moved like ghosts. Machines hummed in the distance, measuring life in numbers. Then I saw her. Emma, 17. Face swollen, lip torn, a line of blood stitched across her temple like a cruel signature. She looked at me through one good eye and whispered, "Dad, it was him." I didn't ask who. I didn't need to. But she told me anyway. The billionaire's son, Tyler Finch. Then she coughed, a wet, trembling sound. He texted me after, said, "You refused to spend a night with me. My dad owns this city. You can't touch me." Her fingers clutched my sleeve, weak but desperate. "Please don't go after him," she whispered. I smiled. I won't. And I didn't. Not directly. At 3:03 a.m., standing under the hospital's flickering light, I made a single call. The line rang once before a gravelly voice answered. "Who is this?" "It's Michael," I said. A pause, then a slow, familiar exhale. "What do you need?" I stared at the blood on my sleeve, at the faint trembling in my hand. "Family business." Silence. Then, "I'm on my way." I knew Tyler's type before I ever met him. Expensive smile, casual arrogance. The kind of man who'd never been told no in his life. His father, William Finch, owned half the skyline and all the silence that came with it. Money, in this city, wasn't power. It was immunity. The police didn't come that night. They never do when a Finch is involved. The detective who took my statement avoided eye contact. He kept his voice low, polite, rehearsed, like a waiter apologizing for the weather. "Mr. Hale, there's not much we can do unless your daughter identifies him formally." She did. He hesitated, and, "You're sure she was coherent?" Coherent. The word made me want to laugh, or kill. I did neither. Instead, I thanked him for his time and watched him leave. Emma slept most of the next day, drifting between medication and memory. When she woke, she avoided my eyes. Trauma has a way of making guilt out of innocence. I told her to rest. She tried to speak again. I stopped her. "Save your words," I said quietly. "I'll find the right ones." That night, I opened her phone. The message was still there. "You can't touch me." He was right, but there are ways around can't. You just have to stop thinking like a father and start thinking like something else. I began with silence. I didn't threaten, didn't shout, didn't go to the press. Noise only warns people. Silence traps them. Tyler's world was easy to track. Social media told me everything. Where he drank, who he bragged to, how much he thought he mattered. He posted a photo 2 days later, him laughing on a yacht. Caption, "Another perfect night. Life's good." I saved the photo. Then I started reading between the lines. His father's company, Finch Industries, had ties with contractors in Palermo. Old money, older connections, ones that used to flow through Sicily like blood through a vein. That's where the retired gentleman came in. Uncle Vincent, my late wife's brother, a man the world had forgotten for good reason. He used to say, "Some debts outlive the men who owe them." When he called back 3 days later, his voice was slow, gravel over whiskey. "I saw the photo. The boy looks healthy." "He is," I said. "And his father?" "Arrogant, predictable." "Good," he said. "Predictable men are easy to bury." I didn't ask for details. He didn't offer any. That same evening, I visited the police again. I filed nothing new. I just wanted them to see me, to remember my calm, my patience, my apparent defeat. When predators think you're done, that's when they stop running. A week later, I received a small envelope. No return address. Inside, a single USB drive. I plugged it in, my hands steady. The video opened with laughter, music, a party, then Emma. She was sitting on a couch, smiling awkwardly, holding a drink she clearly didn't want. Tyler entered the frame, his hand on her shoulder, too tight, too familiar. The laughter turned mean. The music slowed. The camera didn't move. When it ended, the room around me felt smaller. I stared at the frozen frame of his face, grinning, victorious, untouchable. I copied the footage twice, sent one copy to a private investigator I trusted. The other I burned to a disk and sealed in an unmarked envelope. Then I dressed in black, as if for a funeral. When I walked into Finch Tower, the receptionist smiled nervously. "I have an appointment," I said. Of course I didn't, but I said it with the kind of authority money recognizes. William Finch's office smelled of cigar smoke and old arrogance. He barely looked up. "Mr. Hale," he said, his tone dripping courtesy, "I'm sorry about your daughter. Boys will be boys, but—" I slid the envelope across his desk. He frowned, opened it. The color drained from his face as the first frame flickered on his screen. He reached to pause it. I stopped his hand. "Let it play," I said. When it ended, he looked at me like a man realizing his house was on fire and the door was locked. "What do you want?" he whispered. I smiled faintly. "Nothing. Just to see your face when the world learns what your name really means." I didn't release the video. I didn't need to. 2 nights later, Tyler Finch disappeared from a nightclub downtown. The cameras caught him walking in. They never caught him leaving. The city buzzed for a while. Rumors, theories, denials. His father offered a reward, then doubled it, then went quiet. A week later, I received another call. The same gravelly voice. "It's done," Vincent said. Nothing more. No explanation, no details. Just those 2 words. That night, I visited Emma's room. She was asleep, breathing easier now. The bruises had faded, but the fear lingered in small gestures. The way she flinched at footsteps. The way her fingers curled around the blanket like armor. I sat beside her, staring at the quiet rhythm of her breathing. For a moment, I almost felt peace. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. One message. A photo. A man's wristwatch. Cracked. Covered in dirt. The same watch Tyler wore in every photo. And beneath it, a single line. "He won't hurt anyone again." I deleted the message. Then I turned off the phone. 3 months later, Finch Industries quietly announced William Finch's retirement. Health reasons, they said. The investigation into Tyler's disappearance ended without answers. No charges, no leads, no body. Emma started painting again. She smiled sometimes, but it was never the same kind of smile. Some things don't heal. They just learn how to hide. People still asked if I believed Tyler would ever be found. I always gave the same answer. Some people don't get lost, I said. They get misplaced. At night, when the house was silent, I'd stand by the window, watching the city lights blink like distant stars. Justice isn't what people think it is. It isn't balance. It's silence. The kind that leaves room for breathing again. Before bed, I checked on Emma one last time. She was asleep, a faint light on her face. I whispered, almost to myself, "It's over." And for the first time, I almost believed it. Almost. Because deep down, I knew what Vincent once told me was true. Family business never really ends. It just changes hands.